Yeah, so can you hear me? So let's have some kind of a 10 minutes of a Q&A session, and then let's go back to the our actual classes, right? So, um, so Pragati, can you
Yeah.
explain what is regions?
Yeah. So regions, basically, it is a place where there is a group of data centers present
Okay, so
under the AWS data centers.
so I'm going to share my screen probably. So may I know? Can you just tell me that how many regions are there?
Uh, I'm not quite sure
Okay, so you're not
about
sure.
this.
So how to check that how many data centers are there? Okay, if you want to check how many data centers are there, you can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you can just see, so these many data centers are there. If you want to see how many data centers are there, and then like you can also go back to the your accounts and so your account, right? So you can go to your account and then AWS regions. You could go for AWS regions. You can just select these many regions are there. Okay,
Mm.
so the regions can be added by AWS anytime. So if you can count it out, so how many regions are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, so 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 18 regions are already been available for you for your account. Okay, and rest
Yeah.
of the regions are disabled for you. Okay, so these many regions are there. So now, okay, so this is a good answer. So what is regions means? It's a collection of data centers. So what is
Yeah.
in AWS? Okay, probably next monthly. So in AWS, what is individual data center is called? Mansi, can you hear me?
Yeah. I didn't get your question.
So in AWS, what is the individual data center? So um, basically, Pragati told that the region is the collection of data centers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the individual data centers? What is single data centers called?
Sorry.
Okay, you're not sure. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go back to Manoj. Probably Manoj, can you just tell me what is the individual data center is called in AWS?
Yeah, they are availability zone.
Yeah, so individual data center is called as a availability
Zone.
zones, right? So what is availability zones? Availability zone is nothing but the individual data center. Okay, and then the region is called as a collection of data centers, right? Oh, good. Okay, so next let's go back to Ajay again. So Ajay, what is um, okay? So what is hypervisor and why it is used?
Hi. So hypervisor, which can also be termed as operating system.
Yeah,
So we use that on top of hardware, that is any physical server, just to act as application,
yeah,
or we can install, say for example, in a machine, if we have only in traditional architectures, we can use only one OS, whereas with the use of hypervisor on a hardware, say for example server, we can use multiple OS that serves the purpose for many users. Whether they have to use Windows, they can use Windows, Linux, they can use Linux, etc.
yeah. So quite quite correct, and there are many points which can be added for your question for your answer, right? So let's go back to Ram Shankar. Ram, so what are the different types of hypervisor available?
So the two types are bare metal and hosted.
Sorry,
Bare metal virtualization and hosted virtualization for hypervisor.
bare metal and hosted hypervisor.
Hosted, yeah.
No, anybody? I think I'm not sure. So yesterday we discussed something else. right?
Type 1 and type 2, right?
Yes, type 1 and type 2. Okay, so we need to be telling the type 1 and type 2 hypervisors. Okay, the bare metal hypervisor, we can also, so which means that, so we install hypervisor on top of bare metal, that is called as a type 1 hypervisor. Okay, because all the virtual machine will be having only one layer to reach the hardware. Okay, that's why it's called as the type 1 hypervisor. And then what is type 2 hypervisor?
So it's installed on top of an OS, existing OS.
It's top of a SD existing.
An existing OS.
Okay, so next, somebody again. Let's start with Pragati again. So what is virtual machines?
Virtual machines. The machines that are that we can create that are created after installing the hypervisor
Okay.
on a physical machine.
Okay. Next, Lydia, and what is so give me an example for a type 2 hypervisor, and give me one example software for type 2 hypervisor.
Hello.
Yeah, Lydia. So what is the? Give me one example for type 2 hypervisor software we have discussed yesterday.
Sorry, sir. I don't know.
Okay, sure, no problem. And anybody else? Anybody else want to answer to this? So give me an example for the type 2 hypervisor software that can be installed in Windows.
A virtual box
Yes.
or Hyper-V.
Yes, right. VirtualBox. So VirtualBox is nothing but the type 2 hypervisor that can be installed, or Hyper-V also, right? So these two are the operating systems. These two are the softwares that can be installed on top of our, so on top of our OS, so that we can install, we can provision more OS from there. Okay, right? Okay, hope you understand all these questions. So probably one of the last question on AWS. Okay, so give me so yesterday we have seen how to create a virtual machine, right? Okay, so can somebody explain me, like, how to, what is the virtual machine is called, what is the virtual machine service that we can call in Linux, sorry, in AWS. So tell me what is the service name that is called in AWS that is used to create a virtual machine?
EC2.
EC?
2.
Okay, very good. Yeah, what is EC2 then?
EC2, you're asking me the abbreviation?
Yeah, abbreviation.
Elastic Compute Cloud, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so Elastic Compute Cloud. So in AWS we have a service called Elastic Compute Cloud, that is used to create or provision the virtual machines in cloud, right? So these are all the basics which you have seen yesterday. Okay, so we are going to continue with the rest of the classes today, and I'm going to brief about what we have seen yesterday. So yesterday we have seen what is cloud computing and what is the different types of hypervisor, and what are the different what are the different types of hypervisor we can install, and what is the difference between those two hypervisor and what hypervisor we are going to create in Linux, right? So I mean hypervisor creating in AWS, and there is one more command in AWS or in Linux that is used to list the hardware information, to give the hardware information in AWS or in any Linux. So what is the command? Anybody?
Yes, DMI decode.
Yes, DMI decode. So DMI decode is a command that can be used to list all the hardware information for you. That is used to give you the complete list of hardware information that you wanted to be that you want to be seeing about the hardware informations, right? So it can be virtual, it can be hypervisor or anything. It can tell you that which processor and how much RAM you are using and all this information that is used to be giving. That's right. Okay. So yeah, so it's good that you guys got a lot of information about the basics. So let's go back to the rest of the classes today.